Hello everybody, JayReims with the Periodic Review, and welcome to Entertainment News. Now today it looks like Disney Plus has rebooted another film that they did many years ago with Braff at the head of it, and it looks like they redid Cheaper by the Dozen, which is now available on Disney Plus. The intro of this interview, the gentleman basically says it's the first time he ever felt like he could see himself in a Cheaper by the Dozen film, and I don't know if that's in reference to the different colors of skin that are in this film. I don't know what that has to do with making a good film anymore. I just feel like if you have the right person in the right place and they're great at their job, it should be a good film. Braff plays Paul Baker, king of the sauces and father of 10 kids and 2 dogs in a reimagined Cheaper by the Dozen alongside Gabrielle Union, who plays Paul's better half, Zoe Baker. Braff spoke with Screen Rant about connecting with Union right off the bat and how his first-time director, Gail Lerner, balanced such a large cast on her first feature film. Braff also opens up about the powerful scene Kenya Barris Blackish wrote for his updated take on the classic film Cheaper by the Dozen. And it looks like, checking out the IMDb, it looks like Cheaper by the Dozen has been reimagined many times, and I think one of its inceptions back in the 1950s, I believe. The one I remember, of course, is the one with Steve Martin, and it just wasn't an incredible film. It was just kind of okay, maybe average, maybe just a little bit below average. I digress. So it looks like they're just rebooting this and just hoping that this one sticks. All right, Screen Rant asks, first of all, tell me a little bit about Paul Baker and Baker's Breakfast. Braff says, this man is obsessed with breakfast. He doesn't understand why. It just has to be served in the morning, and it's in his dogma that it will be served all day long and all night. He is very passionate about that. He's got a restaurant and serves breakfast all day long. I guess just a side note, I think it's really interesting that we're not doing more films with like normal everyday, like red-blooded American jobs. Like, what's going on? I feel like we haven't seen a lot of these normal American jobs in films lately. It's like restaurateur, and it's also things like online influencers and stuff like that. And it's just like, I know that those are becoming more and more applicable in our day, but it's just really interesting that that's kind of outside of the norm. And there's just not really a lot of jobs inside the norm, which is very strange. Gail Lerner makes her directorial debut with Cheaper by the Dozen. What did her directing style add to this film? Braff says she's amazing. I mean, she has the patience of a saint. There'd be times as a director myself where I'd be in the corner being, there are 10 kids, there are 4 adults, there are 2 dogs, there's the full crew, and I'd be like, oh my goodness, this is double black diamond directing right now. The fact that she is trying to figure out how to manage all these people, and some of them are little, and they're running over and grabbing the boom mic, she is a genius. The fact that she could wrangle this amount of people, and she did it really, really well. Now, I absolutely love Braff, and I've loved him ever since the inception of Scrubs. I feel like he's a pretty good human being, and for him to be very kind to this director, I think is very genuine, and I think it's very kind. Gabrielle Union's Zoe is the perfect balance for your Paul. Zoe is really the heart of the family and really keeps things moving forward when Paul's away doing his restaurant stuff. Can you talk to me a little bit about what Gabrielle brought to the role of Zoe that wasn't necessarily on the page? Braff, first of all, she's the executive producer, so she and Kenya Barris put this together, and she just is so smart and funny and has very good ideas, and she's a mom herself. She knows a mom would never say that and that kind of stuff. It's funny, we have a couple of dramatic scenes in the movie, and she's just a good dramatic actress too. We just really clicked. We bonded right off the bat. We were besties from the start. I think that's really important, especially when 2 coworkers are definitely carrying this film together. I think it's really good to have that kind of chemistry, that kind of bonding, that kind of friendship, and that it kind of gets built from the beginning, and it's built from the ground up. And so with that in mind, I'm really hoping that it translates well on screen, and I'm actually really excited to watch this. I'll probably do this with my wife sometime this weekend. The child in me definitely related to some of the kids in this film, but the adult in me, being a stepdad myself, related to Paul a bit. And with his relationship, especially with Dom. Paul shares this deep bond with his son DJ. Dom is the biological father. Can you talk to me about how Paul's relationship with DJ and Dom has been explored throughout the course of the film? Well, there's that big scene on the porch, which I was so glad that Kenya wrote so beautifully, where they have an honest discussion about race, a Caucasian man raising an African American child, and the responsibility of that. And things that I couldn't possibly teach DJ, but at the same time, DJ loves me, and we have this incredible bond. It doesn't even necessarily have to be about race. I'm sure families all over the world can relate to the idea of dealing with the biological parent and the step-parent, and the bond and the jealousy and all of the stuff that comes up. I think this movie does a really good job of discussing, look, we got to embrace this. We got to be men or women, whatever the case may be, and do this together. That's what fate has brought us to. And I think that it's really in Kenya's writing that he does such a great job with that. I think this is kind of weird wording. I think for me, and that's just because it depends on where you were born. I mean, obviously, if you were born in Africa, you came over to America, became dual citizenship, or you became a citizen of America, then you would be African American. That would make absolute sense. However, if you were born and you were raised second, third, fourth, fifth generation American, yes, your ancestry may be African, but you're still an American. So I mean, I guess it would make more sense that you're Black American or just American, which is what we all are. That would just make sense. I have ancestry, back in Germany, in Europe, so I wouldn't say I'm European American. My grandfather immigrated, so I'm like second generation American. So I wouldn't identify myself as like German American or European American. I just say I'm American. So I don't know why we got to distinguish this. It's kind of weird and awkward in the way that he words this, and we kind of tiptoe around like the color of our skin. Like, why does the melanin in our skin actually matter? It really shouldn't. It just should matter if you're a good father enough raising your child. It doesn't matter if you're the stepfather, the foster parent, the adoptive parent, or even like the wonderful fun uncle. What matters is that you are able to teach the children how to be good human beings. It just doesn't matter about race or color or whatever. And if it all comes down to it, aren't we all a part of the same race, the human race? Now, there's a Comic-Con reference in this film, the little cosplay reference as well. I have to ask because there's a rumor going around that your longtime friend Donald Faison is playing a DC character named Booster Gold. Now, what are the chances that we can get you to re-team up and you play Booster's best friend, the Blue Beetle, Ted Kord? Zach Braff says, that's what I heard. I heard rumors and I know nothing about comic books, but when Donald got this part, my social media blew up with, you got to play Ted Kord now. Now, I don't know who Ted Kord is. I'm sorry, comic book fans, but I would love to play Ted Kord. You can start the rumor. I'm down to play Ted Kord. I don't know anything about Ted Kord, but I'll do it. And honestly, this is just Zach Braff being Zach Braff. I mean, he's not that huge into comic books, obviously. I mean, it's probably fair to say he probably knows some of the characters from the MCU and DC universes, probably some top level stuff, unless he's watched a lot of these films that have been out with these superhero films. But I think it's really genuine that he just says, I just don't know. And I think that's fair. And I think that's honest. And I love that about people who are, big superstars or big actors, and they're just very genuine and very warm about things and honest. That's open and honest is always very important. Next time we talk, you're going to know. I'm sure I'm going to quiz you on your Ted Kord knowledge, but the last question I have for you is, what are you hoping audiences take away from this reimagining of Cheaper by the Dozen? Zach Braff, listen, it comes out March 18th. You can watch it on your couch with all your kids. You don't have to go anywhere. It's the perfect family movie. There's nothing that any child can watch. There is nothing that any child can't watch, but I promise you the best part is you, the parents, will be laughing harder than your kids. And I'll be honest, I'm actually pretty excited about this. It's wonderful seeing Zach Braff back into the acting chair, or out of the director's seat and into the acting roles. And I'm excited to see this just because I've always enjoyed a lot of the films that he's been in. He just seems like a very genuine, very interesting human being. And although the previous renditions haven't done great, maybe this is the one. Maybe this is the one that's really going to put Cheaper by the Dozen on the map, because the past ones just haven't been great. But I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm sure you guys are going to let me know. So thank you so much for watching another video. I really do appreciate it. And from my family to yours, good night. Hello everyone, JayReims with the Periodic Review. Today's video is sponsored by viewers like you, so thank you. Hopefully we've earned your subscription today, so don't forget to click that subscribe button and hit that damn bell to turn on your notifications so you don't miss a content release. Check out the video links at the end of every video to view our previous content, as well as visit the description section for more links to enjoy. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and from my family to yours, good night.